Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. I hope everyone has been enjoying the last 24 hours or so since my last episode. A few things to cover today. Definitely going to talk about the Florentina matchup, which is happening on Saturday. And then catching up on the Sesko news and also as well the Baleba news, because that came out right out of a shotgun yesterday. With after we just heard the decision of Sesko coming to Manchester United, that now United are looking to approach Brighton's Baleba, and the asking price so far has been, it's they're looking to negotiate to get that price down, but so far it's United are moving quickly and moving fastly to try and get things done. And I think we're all wondering, sort of same with Newcastle fans, especially with the way things were coming into the summer, United as well as United and Ineos saying that they don't have any money for transfers, they're just going to have enough. Obviously, the news of financially Cunha's deal that we got counted towards last year's financial details, 2024-2025. So he's not even on the books for this year, which again is an advantage to Manchester United. Going to the transfer and does explain a few things when coming in. So it kind of helps a little bit that we were able to do the Mbeumo and Sesko deal because of the way the things worked out with the Cunha deal. I'm also going to talk about the 58 protest. They're aiming to do a protest on the 17th, just before the game against Arsenal. Obviously, with the way things have been with Ineos and the Glazers, they're aiming to do in the protest, especially with the way season tickets have gone and everything as well. So look for that. I will be discussing that as well, because it's Manchester United news. We have to, it's got to be discussed. But they announced that yesterday about the protest, but I will discuss that as well. But before we continue on with the episode, please remember to like, subscribe, and follow, leave a comment, leave feedback, whether you're following on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. Thank you to those who have just subscribed over the last few days. I do greatly appreciate the new subscribers. Thank you very much for helping me grow this channel. And also don't forget to follow on Instagram, TikTok, and also Twitter as well, or /X, wherever you want to call it. Almost forgot my handles. The Red Devils Corner Kick Pod for Instagram and TikTok, and then RD Corner Kick Pod on X. But yeah, let's go to what we're talking about here. We have the final preseason match for happening on Saturday. Definitely happening at Old Trafford. David De Gea is returning to Manchester United, so we know that will be happening soon. But what to expect? What we're going to look at when we're coming into this final match? Listen, we're a week away from the Prem, so the question is, do we go, what type of lineup do we set up? Which players are we looking to see? I'm hoping Xerxes back for this game. I'm hoping Mazraoui is back for this game. The question is, Højlund, now what do we do with him? There's been rumors of him being talked, so is he going to be thrown into the squad this weekend? Because again, Sesko hasn't done his medical, he hasn't even flown out, not everything has been finalized. So right now it's, will he be the striker? And for how big our first game is in a week, you kind of want to go out and see, hey, how is this going to work? Now, obviously, the last 4 games have been against Premier clubs. This is a European club that we're facing. It's the Snapdragon Cup, I believe, is what they referred it to. They hosted this last year in San Diego. It was against Real Betis. But right now, we need to see what this club is going to be fully like at 100%. Who are we going to look at here? What's our back 3 going to be like? So we don't know. Are we going to go with the false 9 approach like they did last week, putting Cunha up there, or Bruno, or whatever rotation for the attack? Are we going to go and see what the situation looks like with the striker? Is Xerxes going to be healthy for the matchup? And it's a question mark there of like, how are we going to prepare? And we don't know. It's hard to say right now that having him healthy is good. Having him getting some game time this Saturday will be key as well, because you want to make sure that he has those minutes, he has that fitness going in. Again, this game shows importance of getting talent out there, getting the fitness in, getting the system going and showing, but we can't show like fully 100% because, again, we're playing Arsenal the next week. We can't show our hand against an exhibition against Florentina. I know that we're back at Old Trafford. The big thing is, obviously, David De Gea is returning. Obviously, the way everything went down, his final time with Manchester United, we understand. And it'd be good for the club. Like, it's going to be good for the fans seeing him back and everything. Obviously, the bonds that he had with his teammates, he's going to be there. But, we have a lot to look to for next week. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out this weekend. But seeing Xerxes back is, I just posted something up here, United fans reacting about Xerxes playing a video game during Everton. I'm not losing sleep over it. He was watching as a fan. He wasn't doing it while he was sitting on the bench and being a player. But yeah, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. But having him healthy is one thing. So, like I've said, every game, I like to see an improvement from last week. I mentioned in the last week's episode when I talked about the post-game reaction to Everton, as much as it was a draw and we saw some good things, it still felt like a loss because of the mental lapses of the game. There were issues. Leading up to it on Everton was scoring early. There were issues trying to maintain the ball. There was issues in the midfield. There was issues of trying to get things going in the attack. Cunha was not much involved. It's trying to find the right formation, and obviously Everton. Obviously, you didn't want to get everyone in. Obviously, there wasn't much showing of the youth into that game. Maybe this Saturday you'll see a little bit more youth. Maybe we're going to see Kone's debut in Manchester United in this game, because we haven't seen him play so far on the tour. Collier, I'd like to see him get some action. Again, like I've said the last few games, the two people I want to see start together is Diego Leon and Patrick Dorgu together on the field, just to see what would happen. Again, I'm going to do what I did last Sunday or Saturday when I did my preview. I'm going to give you 2 squads. The one that I would love to have, the one that I would think, and the one I think they're going to approach with going into Saturday. Just because I want to see that. I want to see more out of Buemo and Cunha. I want to see them. I want to see someone be the general and take control of the game. I do. I would love to see that from Bruno, but sometimes, Bruno is a roller coaster ride. Thrilling, exciting, doing everything's right, and then just goes down, and then you're going for a couple loops, and then you're just scratching your head, and you're like starting to swear and maybe throw a couch at a television. I'm just making an example because, you see those sports videos of fans just losing their cool over the, yeah. But You get the gist if you're listening to what I'm saying. But I want to see someone take control, lead, and like you see Bruno doing that, but Cunha and Buemo, those guys just taking their steps and making the movements there to go and score and win. Um, the striker position, again, like I mentioned, it's hard to say who's going to be the striker on Sunday. You may have the same starting setup as last week against Everton because Højlund is potentially leaving. Xerxes, we don't know if he's going to start. Cheeto Obi may be the starting option. So you look at that there. I may have to give 3 predicted lineups. But yeah, like you're like the striker situation is going to be tough. We know probably Mbeumo and Cunha will start. Bruno will be in the pivot. Who's going to be his partner? Well, in the mid, it's going to be a rotation of either Ugarte, Casemiro. Maybe you get Mainu in there. Maybe you see Kone. Maybe you see Collier get the start with Bruno because Collier can play that position. He does play it very well. And then, it's hard to say. We'll be talking about the potential target of Baleba later on, but you're going to look at one of those guys there. Maybe Kone gets his start. Maybe Kone comes on at half, just maybe Kone and Collier together start. It's a matter of, what Amorim wants to do. Now, the wingback situation is going to be a complicated one. It's going to be a complicated one going into the season. The reason why I say that is because what do you do with Diego Dalot? As much as Ahmad can play the 10, we have 2 10s there, like in rotation pieces, especially if you're going to have multiple games in a week. We don't have as many games. We have 2 domestic tournaments. That's it. That's all we have. Other than that, it's just Prem games every week. So you're going to see, they're going to be playing once a week. Then you're going to have the occasional Cup or FA Cup game because those are going to be every other month. So you don't really know how things are going to work out and play out, but you're going to be spending more time, having them get the system in, familiar with the rotations. So you're going to watch how this plays out. But in the end, like going back to it, because I know I went a little sidetrack and I started talking about other games, but Diego Dalot, Ahmad, you're also looking at Dorgu solidified the left side. That should be his spot for the way he played this preseason, how he was playing near the end last year, and the growth that he's had since joining the team. You have to wonder who's going to be there because, again, offensively, Ahmad can do it. Ahmad's better offensively than Diego Dalot. He offers more. Not only that, he can track back and play D. So that's a benefit there. Same with Dorgu. They both can track back and they can both offer things offensively. Diego Leon, who have we seen, same as Dorgu, not quite there. Like, I know we had that stumble, but his speed is everything. Obviously, he just needs a few things to work on, but you saw how well he progressed. Again, I would like to see him play on Sunday or on Saturday as a starter with Patrick Dorgu just to see how everything plays out. But yeah, the question is like Dalot. The back 3, obviously I'm happy with the rotation they've been doing. Obviously Yoro, Dalit are going to be the starting 2 going into the season. Now the next is going to be how are you going to do the rotation with Luke Shaw, Aiden Heaven, and Mazraoui. I think Mazraoui is the top spot to be in there. Then you have those 2 in the rotation. Depth is going to be happy this year. I'm happy with depth this year, especially with the less amount of games that we have. Remember, we have Harry Maguire still there, Aiden Heaven, Luke Shaw. Not only that, Leach is coming back too. So we have 6 defenders going in for rotation, and also you have Fredrickson as well. So we have 7 defenders for that back, which is great. The mid, obviously, with the question marks there as well. So, we have options. So for me to make my prediction for Saturday, and I will give my prediction for Saturday. I'll do like I did last week, give 2 different lineups. One that I would love to have and the one that I think is going to be more realistically. Listen, I think Højlund's going to start despite everything that's going on. I still think he's going to give it his all. Especially with him not starting last week against Everton. I think we're going to see, I still think he's going to start. I think he's still going to play because, again, we don't have a striker option. But because I don't see Xerxes starting, because Xerxes needs to get fitness in. He'll come in later on if he's there for the game. Cunha, Embuemo as there, because again, the one thing I always wanted to see was the Embuemo, Cunha, and Højlund setup and how that could play out. If anything, with Højlund, if anything, Cheeto Obi will get the start if it's not Højlund. Again, I would still like to see how that plays out with a proper striker with those two there. So yeah, I think so. Now I'm contradicting myself. I'm going to say Højlund still. When I do my predicted lineup, yeah, what I would like to see, Højlund with those two, Bruno, Ugarte. I'm still saying Dorgu on the left or on the right with Diego Leon. I want to see them together. A back three of, if Mazraoui is healthy, Maz, Yoro, De Ligt. That's what I hope to see with those three. Andre Onana could potentially be back for Arsenal. I don't think he'll be back for Florentina. So Bayender will be in net, or he may go with Tom Heaton, but I think it will be Bayender. That's what I would like to see. Sounds very similar. What I think may happen is, like I mentioned, the Højlund situation. It could potentially be like last week, where you have Cunha, Embuemo, and Bruno starting at the top front. I hope he's not going that. I hope he's going to give Cheeto Obi the start. I do. And I think it's going to be with Cunha and Embuemo, just because it's the last preseason game. You want to give some of your youngsters there. So give Cheeto the start. You can bring in Xerxes later on just for rotational purposes. Also possibly Højlund, because if anything, Højlund will start on the bench. Xerxes should get some minutes in because of fitness if he's healthy, ready to go. But if we're starting everything, Cheeto Obi with Cunha and Embuemo. And it's kind of a good thing for a young guy like that, because they can tell and help the youth guy, help Cheeto go to the right spots and make the right decisions. In the back three, for the wing backs, Dorgu should be starting. He didn't start last week. Then you're bringing on Ahmad at the wing back for right, and then Bruno, Ugarte in the middle. Back three, I think it's going to be Yoro, De Ligt, and Shaw, and then Bayender to start. That's what I'm going with. Just because Shaw has started a little bit, he has played okay. He hasn't played great. He's not going to be starting against Arsenal, but I think Shaw will be there. If Maz is going to be back, he'll be coming off the bench for fitness. He should be the starter going into Arsenal. So that's my back three. What would I like to see from that starters? Again, control, possession. Someone just not take control, but command and just lead with that squad. Control the ball, get everything going, get the offensive moving. I would like to see some goals scored. I don't want to rely on a penalty. I want to see offensive moves. I loved Mason Mount's goal last week. It was great. Mental lapses, we can't have that again. Mental lapses the last two games. Two games in a row, own goals. Last week was just horrendous. That's why I meant it as a loss, because of that mental lapse. We can't keep having that again, because we've had those issues before. We had them much last year. We even had them with Ten Hag as well. We have to be mentally prepped for this game and close it out. That's what I like to see going strong for Arsenal next week. So yeah, that's my loving preview of the episode for tomorrow, for the lineup on on Saturday against Florentina. David De Gea is returning, which we're all excited to see. So we expect Old Trafford to be going bananas on Saturday. So so again, my lineup, what I'm expecting, or lineup what should be happening. Cheeto Obi, Cunha, and Embuemo, Dorgu, and Ahmad. You're also looking at Bruno, Ugarte in the middle, and then the back three, Euro, Delit, and Luke Shaw with Binder in the back as your lineup. So, okay, I spent a little too much time discussing the Florentina matchup. There's a few things I still need to get to, so let's get to Sesko and Baleba. Okay. So yes, obviously the Sesko deal, everything is still on pace to get officially done. So the one thing that we're waiting on is, yeah, just looking at the evening news. Man United have been trying to get Sesko for the last couple of years. Everything is still finishing off and getting the deal done. I believe I read somewhere he's set for his medical and he's been given permission to go. So that's getting there. The medical is getting there, being healthy, ready to go. Again, I don't expect anything to be done. I don't expect him to be here as late as Sunday. Earliest Sunday. Like, he's got to be here for next week. We have our first Prem game. He won't be starting the first Prem game, but it's like he's got to be ready. Like, yeah, like we need to have him here so we can start prepping, but it's going to take some time before we get, everything finalized. But just keep an eye on that. So yeah, sorry if I just sounded like I just drifted off. Sesko should be here no later than Sunday, and hopefully he's signed, ready to go, jersey shown, and he's at Carrington Monday, ready to practice, do his 50 press conferences, along with Amarim 75. But yeah, it's there. The one thing is, too, as much as like this kind of started to overshadow the Sesko news, but yeah, Baleba news with Manchester, like news came out that Manchester United started inquiring with Brighton about Baleba. So yeah, just looking here, this is 1 hour ago. If it is true, yeah. So yeah, Benjamin Sesko snubs Newcastle with fee agreed for Manchester United move. Manchester United agreed to a 66.5 million fee for Leipzig's Benjamin Sesko. This is as regards to the Independent, the Slovenian striker who can cost up to 73.7 if add-ons are triggered. So, well, that's update, but that just came up here. Just taking a look here. So, yeah, so the final deal. Yeah, so I love how these are all here. Okay. All right. So the Baleba deal. Baleba news. Sorry. Brighton's chief just came out an hour ago. Chief executive Paul Barber insisted there is no contact over a move for Baleba. Manchester United are said to be interested in the midfielder and have used formal connections to see if a transfer would be possible. But when addressing the future at a fan forum, Barber said, "We've got some great talent. There's always something going on. Interest in our players. Manchester United have not been in touch with me. From that point of view, speculation is speculation. We will always try and make sure we sell our best players at the right time, not just for the player, but for also us." That's a different take from what I've been hearing in the last 24 hours. Especially with every fan channel and news outlet and everyone going bananas for just the inquiry. From that report, it sounds like nothing has actually happened. But yeah, from everything that I've been hearing, or everything that we saw in the last 24 hours, that United were looking to go in. There's talks of a 90-10 purchase. United are looking to get him down to 70 to get him there. It's, yeah, I'm a little shocked that the executive officer came out and excuse me 1 second. Oh, my apologies, everyone. I had to do out a big sneeze there. I don't even know if I got the mute off in time, but but yeah, everything I just read just came from the Independent. From what they're saying, from the executive officer saying, there's been no contact with United or with them about him. I think they might be going through Baleba's party or whatever to look at there. But yeah, it's right now. It's yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what could be happening here. From all I know is that it's just a dream target is looking at it here. I know Fabrizio Romano was talking about how actually someone just posted, I just checked this out. This is the one thing that came up in my search. Manchester United fans set up a GoFundMe page to raise funds to sign Brighton's Carlos Baleba. Good on that fan. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Unless he's buying into the club and the club used that new found funds for that. But yeah, listen, Baleba is an incredible midfielder. Can we get him? I don't know. I'm not working out how the funds are working. United have the funds. The question is, what's Man United going to look like in a year when the financials come out? But United are targeting him. They're looking at it. From what I'm seeing here right now, it's just there's an idea, there's interest, there's a lot of things that Manchester United are looking at. Question is, can they go through with it? Can they get him? I don't know. Could there be other options? I know Ruben wants Premier League proven players. He's definitely one of them. So yeah, it's everything is there. I think they're going to be going from what I'm seeing here. There's contact made, but from what I'm also seeing and read, according to the Independent, there has been anything made formally with Brighton. I think there's just interest and questions being asked. So we don't know. Will Manchester United try to push and get Baleba? Potentially. It's hard to say. We don't know. And I don't know, and I'm just going to be knowing as much as we can. So it's a matter of what's going to be the decision. So, but don't get me wrong, it'd be great to have, but right now I just wanted to repeat what was just stated in the Independent 1 hour ago, that no contact has been made. And this is done by the chief executive, Paul Barber, at a fan forum. This is reported by the Independent that nothing has been there. So the news is always all over the place. We hear one thing, we hear another, but I know us, the fan, the world, just got excited when we heard there's interest and potential in them trying to make moves. Again, like I've said before, I will not believe it until I see them signed with the Manchester United social media squad saying, here we go, this person is signed, welcome to Manchester United. That's when I'm going to believe it. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on to my final segment of the episode. Okay. So yesterday it was announced that the 1958 will be launching a protest before the Arsenal game, first game of the year next week. So we're obviously the Glazers, everything we know. We know what's there. We know what's happening. We know the history of it. It's nothing new. But as of August 5th, this was stated by the 58. It's titled, Jim Can't Fix This, United Fan Group to Target Ratcliffe in New Wave of Glazer Protests. This is from the 58 Twitter page. The 1958 have announced a new big protest ahead of the Manchester United opening game of the season for the first time, directed at part owner Jim Ratcliffe as well as the hated Glazers. Supports are being rallied ahead of the Arsenal at Old Trafford on August 17th with a new route planned, banners produced, including Jim Can't Fix This. Radcliffe has been branded a devil in disguise. It's a new season, but the same old ownership issues. 20 years of the Glazers. 20 years of the Glazers is 20 years too long. Enough is enough. If you know the history, obviously the way they purchased, the budget, sorry, I shouldn't say the budget, the debt and how they've borrowed, like nothing has been put back into the club, so on and so forth. Just to get the gist of it. So continue on. We won't allow the natural optimism and a couple of shiny new signings to deflect the bigger off-field pictures. Jim chose to get in bed with the Glazers and has helped keeping them in charge. So on August 17th, we protest not against the Glazers, but also against Jim Ratcliffe, a man once seen by many, including ourselves, as a possible savior, a beacon of hope, and now revealed as complicit in the ongoing erosion of everything that makes our club what it is. There is no longer just about an ownership, but this is about survival. The survival is our identity, our community, and our values. Disneyland in the North obviously talks about potential stadium, the systemic eviction of long-standing fans from the South Stand, some who have held seats for generations, is not just a policy decision, it's an attack on every soul of Manchester United. There are people who help build the atmosphere, traditions, heartbeat. To cast them aside to satisfy profits, premium experiences is nothing sort of a disgrace. The dilution of young supporters, the austerity imposed on a loyal club staff, the push to create a Disneyland in the North to show exactly where the priorities lie, not with the fans, not with the community, but with the shareholders, executives, global brand, and strips of the club of its roots. Let's be clear, this is not for us. It's not for the fans who travel up and down the country across Europe. It is not for those who stood in the same spot at Old Trafford for decades. It is for profit and pure and simple. The burden is greed and is being forced onto generational fans. Being priced out, being pushed out, and ignored. Obviously, my apologies for the Disneyland of the North. Obviously, changes. I know they mentioned about the season seats, changes to the club. There's going to be changes to the area around the club as well. But trying to make it something that's, that's just my interpretation. My apologies if I've said anything. Football is consuming itself. What's happening at Manchester United is a warning to every other club, a calculated attempt to Americanize and franchise the game we love. If this continues, the sport will be left hollow and a commercial product with no soul. I have mentioned this on episodes before. As much as we've talked about how great Manchester United is, the commercialized part of it has made Manchester United bigger. It's more commercial than it is the actual club. I've always said we're the biggest commercial club, not the biggest club in the world. Football is communicating itself. What's happening at Manchester United is a warning to other clubs. Sorry, I just repeated that. Using our club apparently sounds opinionated on the reaction to personal seat licenses is another alarm bell. This would further price out the youth, local communities, generations, and loyal fans, and another step to ripping the football away from the grassroots. Just showing how out of touch our club and owners have become. This isn't about the game or about the supporters. It's about profits, greedy loyalty, and loyalty and tradition. Yes, I will agree with that. I know ticket prices have gone up. I know they've done changes around. I know there's talks of the stadium. I know they're trying to make it like a Wembley of the North, trying to make it big. If you've seen the photos, trying to make it exactly what they were saying, a Disneyland of the North. They're trying to boost profits, make money. In the end, I know in the end, it is a business. So, and then finally, I'm going to try and read some of it out. No savior. Actually, I'm almost done. No savior. We don't believe a word the club say. His actions speak louder than words, and their actions prove their intentions. We will not be silent. We will not be complicit. Jim Ratcliffe, you have chosen the side, and it's not ours. You now stand on the shoulders. You now stand shoulder to shoulder with the Glazers. The mask has slipped, and you are no savior. You are the devil in disguise. We protest everything. We protest every fan who have silenced, evicted, priced out, and disregarded, bigger than one club, This is about the future of football. To those, our fan bases, if the penny hasn't dropped, wake up. To our fans, if you're starting to see similar measures being trialed at your club by your owners, you're next. Remember this, you will never know the value of a moment until it becomes a memory. What is being lost isn't just about seats or structures. It's about identity, community, and moments that make football worth everything. Once that's gone, it will be lost forever. More details to follow in the coming days. And they have consistently posted a few more things. Listen, the 58 have always done a fantastic job after that. And I do apologize or if I've misinterpreted anything in there. Obviously, and they obviously everything that's gone on. They posted something the last day. We've reviewed the initial response to our protest announcement and intentions. In the reviewer response, we will be putting together a survey to our members to gauge their thoughts on the inclusion of INEOS and actions. If you'd like to be included in the survey, please sign up at our CB58 membership website. We will be sending out surveys tomorrow afternoon. Listen, I am all in favor. Listen, the protests, the changes, yes, it hasn't set well. Obviously, with them announcing the stadium, announcing changes to around there, the season seats. I know they've been wanting to make it more of a Wembley. That's what they're aiming for, trying to get stuff around the community to be changed. I know prices have gone up. I know they put restrictions on season seat holders. Changes to that. I think it was $4,000 for season seats. Excuse me. So I've seen that there. So I may have misinterpreted the Disneyland of the North when I saw that. They're trying to make it more of a tourism, I would say. But the stadium is going to attract even more tourism, make it even bigger too, as well. I have had mixed reviews about INEOS. With everything going on, it's been up and down. Obviously, the job cuts, the changes, the restructuring of the club, yes, it's been affected, especially over the last year, people losing jobs. Changes to, what they have planned, what they want to grow. They want it, in the end, it is a business. Remember this. As much as Manchester United is a club, it is also a business too. And it's grown. The fans, as much as the fans love this club, the fans haven't really stopped to impact and had them just not go to clubs anymore. They haven't stopped from preventing tickets being sold. They've still been lining the Glazers' monies with pockets. INEOS has been trying to do things right. And let's rewind ourselves back to the Cristiano Ronaldo interview a couple years back with Piers Morgan. And listen, I've said my opinion with that before, but he did say something in there that some of the stuff had to be upgraded, and that was still the same stuff that was there when he left. He left in 2009, and some of the same stuff was still there. Nothing had really changed, no upgrades, no facilities. When they opened up Carrington before, everything was just prime. Everything was just, first of its kind, whatever. But now he comes back and nothing has changed. It's still the same stuff. Nothing's been upgraded. Nothing still looks like that. There still looks like there's issues. They've renovated Carrington. They've reinvested into it. They've upgraded it. They've made proper changes, which is good. They put their own money in. INEOS has invested their own money into the club, but more. So they're doing right things, helping invest in. They've done, for as much as bad things they've done good things as well. They have. But it's up and down. The Glazers, I understand. The Glazers, for everything that INEOS has done, INEOS has taken over football operations. They're fixing everything as much as they can to the Glazers and reducing staff. Because again, from the reports I've seen and everything, United have double the staff more than anyone. and I understand we have a commercialized product and the television station, everything, but there may be more things that shouldn't have been there that they were rewarded with. So you want to bring that down. Ineos has put in their own money. I believe that Ineos has put in another 300. I don't know if it's 300 million pounds, but they've invested more money into the club to help. We haven't seen a cent from the Glazers. They've taken money out of the club. They've taken shares. Ineos stopped dividends from being paid out for, I think it was minimum 3 years. So he's removed that. So we haven't seen anything from there. Now, they're right. Sir Jim can't fix the problem. But Sir Jim, it's going to take time to fix everything. And I'm going to go back to what Ruben Amorim has said. The suffering is going to be a little bit longer. Either he knows what's happening or there's going to take some time to get things done. So we like the job loss. Yes, it hurts. I feel for those that lost, that had been there for years. I feel for, the changes that have come to the club, all that stuff. But they have to fix things to start making things right, to go the long way. It's the truth, in the sense that you have to make adjustments to work in the long run. The short term, it's going to look like it sucks, but in the long term, it's going to be there. I was part of the group that was not a fan. Like, I did kind of want Ineos at the time. I did want the Saudi group to come in and everything. But we're gonna. I'm up and down. Like, the protests, I understand, towards the Glazers, it's always going to be there. But I think, I understand why they came out with that other statement about the reaction, because there were many fans that I saw on X yesterday giving their opinion, especially on social media, about the Ineos. Like, Ineos is now coming up on 2 years of being part owners. 2 years now. Obviously, with the way things went in the last year, up into Ruben Amorim, and even during Ruben Amorim's time, has been a cluster of crap. But Ineos is trying to build something, and they're trying to fix things at the same time. Nobody's going to like what they're doing. Nobody's going to like what they have planned. But they're going to try and generate profit. They're going to try and hopefully do something for the debt that they've accumulated, which the Glazers have never fixed or done anything. So, and is Ineos a puppet? I don't know. Yes, he's in bet. Yes, he's with the Glazers. Yes, he's in contact with them. But at the same time, too, it's Ineos running the show. It's Ineos who's thrown in the money to help fix the operations of the club, to get things going. For all we know, some of the money that Ineos has put in is the reason why we're able to potentially get players or things to help improve. For all we know, the money that they're putting into the club to fix Carrington that's needed to be upgraded, which we've had issues with. Again, I go back to the Ronaldo interview, like I mentioned. So I support what 58 is doing. But I've changed my stance a little bit on Ineos, just because they had something to go into that just needed a drastic change. I would love for them to see what they do, but the matter is we have to wait and see with Ineos. So it's a 50-50 love-hate with Ineos. But I couldn't imagine what they were going through when they took over and saw what a shit show it could have been. They've done some good things. Fixing Carrington is good. Backing Ruben, spending the money that they are right now, getting those players in. It's just a matter of try to get things going. I know. I know they're trying to make something in Manchester. I know it's about the community, everything I know about the stadium. Try to make something bigger, similar to, like, again, what they're talking about with Disneyland of the North. I know they wanted to do something like a Wembley of the North. but it's the loyalty and everything that Manchester United is always going to be there. The history, the loyalty of the fans, everyone's there. I know people come there because it's a big commercial. I know they've made it over the last few years a commercial brand. Those who know the history of the club, everything, they know. They know what it is. And the loyalty will still be there. You still see it everywhere. If you watch the U.S. tour, you saw the fans singing. You saw the fan groups everywhere. You saw what it is. You saw the supporter clubs at the pubs there. The loyalty, the history, the love of the club is worldwide. But it's not just in Manchester. It is global. And I understand where the 58 are coming from. But in the end, when they're talking about the loyalty, everything, the loyalty will always be there. The honor, the history of the club will always be there, because when you look at it all here, it's remarkable. Again, I was looking at the supporter clubs in Atlanta, Chicago. There's one in New York. I'm here in Canada. I know there's a bunch all over in Ontario. So we know the history, know what it means. We know what it does to the club, but so there. But yeah, the protest is there. I'm just going to support the protest because I know what they're trying to aim for. And they posted a video from August 3rd. Glazers out in, actually that's a Red Army, or not Red Army, sorry. Pittsburgh Red Army. So obviously Pittsburgh fan group, supporters club. This one guy has the flag backwards. But in the end, yeah, no, they realized, no, yep, they fixed it. But yeah, listen, the supporter groups are there. It's everywhere. But Ineos is doing what they need to do to help try and keep the club surviving. Sometimes it may not like what you like. There's always going to be opinion there. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. So yeah, leave it there. I will be back Saturday morning after the game, because for us it's 7:45 a.m. here to watch. So I'll be after the game just to get my updates and feedback. I might do one more episode tomorrow. The reason why is just because I didn't know when I was going to be recording the episode of the preview. So I will be, I'll be back. I may be back tomorrow. I'll see how I feel in the morning. We'll see whatever news has happened too. But yeah, just before we go again, Sesko is on his way to do his medical. From what I've just learned, everything looks like it's been finalized with the agreement. So Sesko hopefully should be here Monday, potentially. For all we know, he's being introduced Saturday. I think they're going to try and aim for him to be there Saturday, but time will tell. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's gonna patience is all I say. So maybe back tomorrow, but I will definitely be back Saturday after the match with a new episode. And we'll see what's happening with Baleba as well. So we don't know. Obviously, there's updates with transfers. Garnacho, Chelsea's somewhat moving forward. There's talks of there's an Italian club looking like they're interested in Sancho too. What else is new? Nothing has been moved forward. It's just all speculation. Again, like I said, when I see them gone, I see them gone. And when I see a new player signed, I wanted with the Manchester United social media team saying, yes, here we go, to say the least. But yes, enjoy the rest of your day. If I'm not back tomorrow, enjoy the match Saturday morning, or depending on where you are in the world. It could be a late afternoon game for you. It could be late at night, or it could be morning on the next day, depending on where you are. But have yourself a good day. Enjoy your Friday. Enjoy the match Saturday. I will talk to you guys very soon. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.